From the quad on a beautiful autumn afternoon on the campus of Lafayette College, Lafayette presents the inauguration of their 18th president, Nicole Farmer Hurd. Hello everybody, I'm Gary Laubach. I will be the host for this afternoon's event, joined by a number of guests who I will get to in just a moment. But this is indeed the installation of number 18 at Lafayette College, and despite all the pomp and circumstance that you will be watching here this afternoon, this is a relatively simple ceremony. The chair of the Board of Trustees charges the president with the faithful execution of the duties that have been entrusted to her. The vice chair and the secretary of the board present the president with a copy of the charter and statutes of the college and a symbol of the presidential authority. Following that, President Hurd's inaugural address, which will follow her installation, will be the heart of the presidential program. This is a celebration of Lafayette's commitment to its core mission of educating tomorrow's leaders, and Lafayette really welcoming their new president, Nicole Farmer Hurd. As I mentioned, I have some guests up here on the stage with me. To my far right is a man so familiar to you, John Leone, who helps me do all of the Lafayette Sports Network broadcasts on football and basketball. But John has been on this campus for 47 years as both an athletic coach and also as a fundraiser. And John will be talking about the role of the president in those two areas in just a moment. To my middle right, Jen is Tenny Bakari. Tenny is a student at Lafayette, class of 23. She's in the student government. She's an ambassador of Lafayette, a board member of the Marquis Scholars and Fellows, and she is the farm manager at La Farm. John will be talking to her in just a moment, and I'm sure he's interested in the farming aspect that Tenny is involved in, a very important program here on campus. To my near right is Jen Rossman, a professor at Lafayette College, professor in mechanical engineering, but her role became much more important as she was on the committee to help find the new president. So I will indeed start with Jen. And Jen, can you describe for the people at home the search process in finding Nicole Farmer Hurd?
Sure. So I think my favorite part of the process was the first part, which was we did sort of a listening tour. We had a search committee that was composed of some trustees, some alums, some current student, faculty, staff, all stakeholders, right, in the life of the college. And we went out and tried to listen to what all the people we could talk to would want in the president from Lafayette, what they thought the greatest challenges facing us were and what they thought the opportunities were. And kind of a silver lining, I guess, of the fact that we've all become so dependent on Zoom is that we could engage people who might not have come if we just had those meetings on campus, right? And so we could have meetings with people in California, people all over the place who would then have a voice in our process. And so we heard from people who were alums just as recently as last year, and also people who have been part of the life of the college for decades. And we sort of tried to coalesce, what they were saying and turn that into the job description for this president. And I think the themes that we heard from almost everybody were, look, we really want to honor the history of Lafayette while also really transforming ourselves in exciting ways. And, right there you get a sense of how tough a president's job is. You've got to do both those things, and you've got to do it in a way that makes all these diverse constituencies feel listened to, satisfied, and excited about what's happening. So you can see that even in the job description we had, where we said we want to maintain things like our great relationship with the Easton community, and we also want to take like moonshots in the area of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we want to maintain, strengthen, and also transform ourselves.
And Bob Sell in charge of probably the most unique research to go and try to find the new president, because everything had to be virtual, everything had to be on the internet, and I'm sure Bob played an important role.
Oh, Bob was really great. Bob and Linda, every meeting was virtual. Meetings that would have been just casual conversations with the search committee with, a plate of pastries in the middle, we're having on Zoom. And so Bob and Linda had to create that sort of convivial, candid, it's okay to disagree about things and really engage in these meaningful discussions about the future of the college in this sort of weird two-dimensional space. And they did a great job setting a fantastic tone for us. Bob also said something early on that has always stayed with me, that he said, every conversation we have together and with any possible candidate for this position is an opportunity to learn about Lafayette, to learn about how we look from their perspective and
outside.
how we might look in their eyes looking forward, which was really great.
I guess the next and final obvious question is, why Nicole Farmer Hurd? What did she bring to the table that convinced everybody she's the one?
Yeah, Nicole is so warm and so authentic. And I probably shouldn't lead with that because people might think, well, wait, aren't all of us warm and authentic? But there was something there was just no cynicism, no veneer of, an act or anything about it. It was very genuine engagement when we, at a moment, especially in the time of the pandemic and all of, the murder of George Floyd and everything else that was happening in the world, we knew our students were hurting. And Nicole talked about wanting to embrace them with love and make sure that this was a place where they could flourish and thrive with that love. And we thought, this is this is really great. And of course, the fact that she built the College Advising Corps from just a cocktail napkin idea doesn't hurt either.
And I'm sure the committee's very proud of the choice they made.
We do feel really excited about what the possibilities that we have with Nicole.
We're all excited to meet her in just a moment. And John, I know you want to talk to Tenny Bakari, a student here at Lafayette, and obviously a very important student on campus.
Yeah, I think Tenny embodies what we like our student body to be, engaged in so many different ways, Tenny. And Gary, first of all, I'm 42 years. 47 makes me old. I'll get there soon enough, but 42 will do. But Tenny, we talk about the pomp and circumstance of the day, installing a new president, but I don't know that we think a lot about, we talk about continuity of mission. What does that mean for the student? In other words, you're looking for a certain kind of campus culture, academic experience, and social experience. What does the installation of a new president mean to a student?
I think students are really looking for a president that has kind of taken notice to what we have been kind of pushing for over these past couple years. Being a junior, this is my third year here at Lafayette, and I've already seen so much change here at the school. And there are so many different movements that have stemmed from student activism. And I think a president that acknowledges that, and kind of as they are making their plan for the next 7 to 8 years that they're here, they take in mind and they keep in mind kind of what students are expecting as well.
And I think Nicole's background kind of dovetails well into your own personal interests. I have the belief that when the brain and the heart inform one another at a high level, real wisdom lies there.
Yes.
Your major, a double major actually, policy studies,
yes,
economics, and international affairs.
Yes.
You gotta be thrilled about her view from 34,000 feet, her life view and her life experiences.
Yes, 100%. I think kind of tying back with my majors, I think a person that understands the intersectionalities that kind of happen within our world and is able to kind of pull from a bunch of different areas in order to see her vision through is something that's really important to me, but I also think really important to the students here at Lafayette. Our majors here are really diverse. We have a lot of different interdisciplinary majors, and I think we all see as students the importance of understanding, even as like an international affairs major, understanding economics, understanding engineering, and being able to kind of utilize all that knowledge in order for like a brighter tomorrow.
Well, for better or for worse, it has been 42 years, and I have seen, and Jen, you and I were talking a little bit about this just a moment ago, about how the curriculum has evolved. And I can remember a day when the history department was over there, and the engineers were on that side of campus. Don't worry, we don't have to deal with those guys. It's so far from that. We've come light years from that. And Gary, if you don't mind, I was fascinated with Jen's area of study. Fluid dynamics. Well, I'm thinking about rivers and streams, and you do work with arteries and blood and biology. It's great stuff.
Oh, well, thank you for saying that. Well, fluids are everywhere, right? And
usually
they all have to obey the same equations.
Usually from Gary's eyes when he has to work with me. But thank you. It's no question that our curriculum has evolved that way.
John, you didn't mention La Farma. You have to tell us a little bit about La Farma.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is my favorite thing to talk about. But La Farm is our 3-acre organic farm that is right next to the Metzger Athletic Complex. Part of the farm is a compilation of a bunch of different community plots. So there are professors that have plots. There are different community members in Easton and other parts of the Lehigh Valley that have plots. I think there are some classrooms that also have plots there as well. And so they take care of those. And then the rest of the farm is just for us at the farm. We cultivate a lot of different vegetables and fruits. We sell some back to dining. We sell some to some non-for-profits around Easton. We also have community kind of like shares that we give when some people part of the community pay for little like boxes to get different vegetables in. It's my favorite part about being at Lafayette. It's the thing that helped me find my passion in life. And honestly, it is one of the reasons why I chose Lafayette, and I continue to stay. Is it's a really unique part. Not many small liberal arts schools have an off-campus farm that is that functioning, that is that involved in a school's dynamic and a school's food structure, because we sell to the dining hall. So I think it's one of our most unique parts.
And is it Thursday nights? I think you are in the West Ward. There's a group that goes down to the West Ward and actually make those kinds of foods available to families who might not, I mean, eating habits for whatever reasons, and you help those families.
Yes, so it's called Veggies in the Community. It is a program put on specifically during the summer that carries on a bit into the beginning of the school year. And every year it's for research students. I had the opportunity to do it the summer after my freshman year. And it's a really great opportunity. The West Ward is one of the areas in Easton that suffers a lot from food insecurity. And so we have the ability to go in, like John said, and provide for them food, no extra charge. We do accept donations to help another farm in Easton called the Easton Urban Farm. But it is a really great opportunity that allows Lafayette to kind of connect with Easton, especially in a more inclusive way, I think. There are fun ways that we do it with like Bacon Fest or the Crayola Factory, but I think actually giving back to the community is one of the more heartfelt things that we do.
Another great example of the kind of students that Jen deals with and all the professors here at Lafayette deal with. Obviously, Tenny doing just a spectacular job on campus, and we thank you for that. John, I'm going to have to chat with you as much as I probably don't want to do that.
We don't do that a whole lot.
John, you've been involved in athletics here in the college. You've been involved in fundraising. Two very important aspects, particularly to alumni. So therefore, it has to be very important to the president. So let's talk first of all about athletics. How important is the new president to the athletic program here at Lafayette?
Well, Gary, you and I talked about this even last week when I think one of the most significant moves for athletics was made almost immediately by Nicole Hurd, and that's when she elevated our Director of Athletics, Sherryta Freeman, to a cabinet position. That means that that Sherryta, as the head of that department, will now have a seat at the table when conversations at a high level take place. And think what you will about athletics. That's really not the point. The point is that we have between 22 and 25% of our student body is playing a Division I sport here at Lafayette. And again, it speaks to the diversity of our diverse interests, how to balance things, how to manage time, inclusion, equity. I mean, I don't know that, you can overstate how important those values are. So when Nicole made that move, I think it sent a clear message that she cares about athletics, and that was exciting to a lot of our alumni.
And John, we'd be kidding ourselves if we didn't say the lifeblood of any college is their ability to raise money and obviously create the kind of environment that they want for their students and their faculty. And you were a vital part of that for many, many years. Obviously, with your personality, everybody welcomed you, and but how
whether they wanted to or not.
How important is it to have the support of the president?
Well, one of my mentors, Gary Evans, told me one time, and it rings so true: where the heart goes, the wallet follows. And it's so true. But as difficult as it was in coaching, and if you don't believe me, just look up don't look up the record. When I came to administration and started fundraising for this place, it was so rewarding, so fulfilling. People were giving you their time and treasure and thanking you for it. I think people who haven't done it and haven't seen the fruits of it. Jen was talking about the new Rockwell Integrated Sciences Center and the Entrepreneurial Center there. We have a new Raymer History House. You can teach under a tree, I suppose, but you know what? When it's like a good coach having access to the best players and the best facilities. And that's what we need to give our faculty, because we're recruiting students like Tenny. And Tenny needs those kinds of resources, human resources with the faculty, physical resources as well. And everything I've done here at the college has been rewarding. I could never do more for the college than it has done for me. But I have to tell you that I never realized how important and how rewarding that line of work was.
John, in this environment, with COVID still hanging around and not going away, has fundraising, do you think, become more difficult? Or has it become like it always was, or is it easier?
Well, fortunately, I think the timing was okay, if there's such a good thing as okay timing for a pandemic. What happened was we had just completed a capital campaign, so we were kind of in a silent phase or gearing up for the next one anyway. The thing that I could never get used to is Zoom meetings. I'm sorry. Man, if I'm not sitting in front of somebody and emoting what it's about, that's hard for me. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll come out of this thing and Nicole will have a clean slate and we'll start up again.
You and I have been personally involved in the inaugurations of now 3 presidents here at Lafayette. They are always unique in their own way. I assume this one will be also, as I hear the drums rolling, which means the procession is about ready to start. Just give me your perspective on what will happen here today.
Well, you know, people can think what they will and imagine what they will. It's about tradition, but yeah, not so much. I think it's about recognizing and celebrating our continuity of mission. A president, in my view anyway, is more like a centerpiece of this 200-year mosaic that has been Lafayette. And a president is less a captain of the ship than a rudder. And the rudder is going to suggest direction and pace. It's a complicated job, far more complicated than it ever has been before. I think one of the great things about Nicole is her work with CAC. We haven't talked a lot about that, but it's central to the mission of Lafayette. So she's an academic, she's a researcher, she's a leader. I just think she fits hand in glove with Lafayette College.
And obviously, Tenny, maybe you were aware that they had a trivia night here this past week. She and her husband, Bill.
Yes.
What a better way to acclimate yourself to the student body.
Yes.
Were you part of that at all? Or?
I luckily kind of got in for the beginning half of it. I was lucky to get a hat. It is my favorite hat now. If I wasn't wearing such formal garbs right now, I would be wearing it. But it was so cute. They also brought their dogs to that as well. But it was a really nice way for them to meet a lot of the different students and kind of to get acclimated to who we are as students and what we derive as fun. A lot of students had a great time.
And Jen, I know you would not normally be sitting here right now.
That's
You'd
right.
have that very hot
I would have
gown
that
and
Harry
cap
Potter
and-
robe on.
Yes.
Yep.
You know, I know thinking that's in your closet, you put it away and you hope, maybe I don't have to wear it on a hot day like today. But you have to be pretty darn proud when you slip that on for maybe an hour or so.
It's not a bad feeling. And of course it's blue and gold, the right colors as we were discussing. But yeah, it is, and especially seeing all the colleagues, similarly lined up. We do that to welcome a new president or to congratulate the graduates on their way out, and it gives a sense of ceremony to a time that's really special.
Yeah, we're happy to have you alongside of us.
Thank
and
you.
I know you commented about the temperature. You're not all that unhappy about not having to put that on. Well, I hear the drums and I see that the procession is beginning, and if we can turn our attention to the procession, you'll notice that the mace, which will lead the procession off, is being carried by a faculty member who has the longest rank of professor here at Lafayette. It is Elon Pellick, Charles A. Dana Professor of Government and Law. And I think, John, everybody knows Elon.
Oh my goodness, Elon, his background, read about Elon's background, incredible stuff. We won't go into it here, but he is a long and treasured member of the faculty, no question about it.
The mace is used at public acts of the college, namely installation of the president and the granting of degrees. It is a very intricate ornamentation created by Tiffany and Company. That's not too bad. And the head of the mace has 2 sides. One features an engraving with the coat of arms of the Marquis de Lafayette, and the other features the college seal, which includes the college motto, Veritas Liberabit, the truth shall make you free. And then the order of the march, first of all, are delegates from colleges and universities. And Jen, I know it's great to have so many people from other colleges come here to honor the president.
Absolutely, it's that larger sense of community that we're all, striving for sort of the same things and feeling the same sense of possibility here.
The marshal is Brianna Brissell, class of 2016, representing Harvard University. This is the order of the march. These delegates represent more than 32 number colleges, universities, and associations. They're marching in the order of the institution's date of founding. Harvard founded in 1636, and the newest, Northampton Community College, 1969.
The breadth of the academic world. I think, to Jen's point, the sense of community among academic folks. I always go back to the students, because these folks are the recipients, and we train and educate tomorrow's leaders, and someone has to do it at the highest level, and we do it.
No question about it. Following the delegates from other colleges are alumni delegates. The marshal is Michael Weisberger, class of '82. He is the Alumni Association Vice President. Lafayette's alumni serve the world in diverse and inspiring ways, making a positive impact in their professions, industries, and communities. 49 alumni classes are represented here today. It is homecoming weekend, so we'll have plenty of former Lafayette people on campus this week.
Oh yeah, it's community is key, and I think our size, in the old days we used to call it the little train that could. It's not that anymore. We're much more powerful. This is a locomotive, and again, it goes back to the involvement of the entire community, not just faculty, but alumni, and our ability to attract such great students.
Now we have the student delegates. Obviously, Tenny, the group you're most proud of. The marshal is Annette Diorio, the college's vice president for campus life. The students in this procession represent their fields of study at the college. Lafayette offers 51 areas of study across 4 academic divisions: humanities, social studies, natural sciences, and engineering. The college has about 2,700 students, all undergraduates. They come from nearly every state in the country and from 58 foreign countries. So Jen, your experience has been with the most diverse of young people in the world.
Absolutely.
Yes, and obviously this student body is well represented here as they're marching in right now. They'll be followed by the faculty. The marshal is John Meyer, the college's provost and dean of the faculty. Lafayette has 226 faculty members, and what you must love is, and you too, Tenny, must love, is a student-faculty ratio of 10 to 1. How important is that to both of you in the classroom?
Oh, it's key. It's one of the greatest things to be able to feel that you know who the students are, you know what's brought them to your class, what they're hoping to get out of it. You notice when they're not there. You get that really tight relationship. Maybe that's not so good for Tenny and her peers. But for us, it really makes the classroom feel strongly connected, like we have this sort of common purpose.
Having taught school for 30 years, I too appreciate the smaller classes, and Tenny, I'm sure you do too.
100%. Even when it kind of comes back to bite me in the butt. I think it means a lot when a professor can tell when you're struggling and can tell when you're even just having a bad day and that might affect a test or something like that. I think it's that tight-knit connection with the faculty that makes Lafayette so amazing, because it means that even when you're making decisions as a faculty, you have students in mind, and when students are thinking about the ways that they give back as alumni, they're thinking about the faculty that have given them so much.
Mm-hmm. And John, next up are the trustees. The marshals are Alan R. Griffith, class of '64, former chair of the Board of Trustees. Edward A. Hart, class of '69, former chair of the Board of Trustees. These are people you got to know very well.
Oh yeah, and they're so central to the direction and the success of the college. One thing I did want to touch on when you mentioned student-faculty ratio, there are a couple of elements that evaluating organizations look for in a college, and among them, student-faculty ratio, and I think 10 to 1 is about the benchmark. If you can get to 10 to 1 or better, you belong in that elite company. And the other one is, of course, alumni satisfaction. But the message comes from the top, and of course, Nicole Hurd will lead us again. But those chairs, I go back to Charlie Hugel of Hugel Hall. That was an interesting campaign. It was enormously successful. At Hurd, Alan Griffith, and of course, Bob Sell is kind of a kindred spirit. Who's more enthusiastic than Bob Sell?
Nobody is. Nobody. By the way, the batons that the marshals were carrying were made from the stair rail of the house long occupied by Professor Francis A. March, a distinguished philologist who was a professor of English and philology at Lafayette, who held the country's first professorship in English, and the batons were first carried in the inauguration of President McCracken in 1915. We're just about ready to move it to the platform.
No, I wasn't there, no.
No, but he tried to raise money based on that. I'm sure he did. What we're going to have as far as the program is concerned, we'll have greetings to the president from the faculty, represented by Josh Smith, from the president's Emeriti, represented by David Ellis, from the community, represented by Mayor Sal Panto of the city of Easton, from the students, Flor, Marina, Selena, Caceres, Godoy, class of 22, president of the student government, from the college and universities, Alison Byerly is back, the former president now of Lafayette College, now the president of Carleton College. She was the president here at Lafayette from 2013 to 2021. From the alumni, Mike Weisberger, the class of 2022, vice president of the Alumni Association. And from the administration and staff, Sherryta Freeman, the director of athletics. They've made certain that every element of the college is represented.
Gary, it goes back to what I mentioned before. This is about continuity of mission. It's like a relay race. Alison Byerly passing the baton, and I think that continuity, that very positive energy and continuity, speaks to the life of this college and our sustainability as an institution. We keep climbing higher. Everyone here is standing on the shoulders, including students, standing on the shoulders of those who went before.
And the two we have been a part of, Dan Weiss and Alison Byerly, we were here for their inauguration. And you're so right, you stand upon their shoulders, you just try to make everything greater than it was in the past. It's a great weekend here at Lafayette, as we mentioned. It's a celebration of the 50th anniversary of women's athletics at the college. There'll be a Lafayette field hockey game tomorrow against Colgate at Rappold Field at Metzger Athletic Field. The Lafayette men's soccer team will play tomorrow against Colgate at Oak Stadium at Metzger Athletic Fields. And then the Lafayette football team will play their first Patriot League football game of the year. They'll take on Fordham tomorrow afternoon at 3:30 at Fisher Field, at Fisher Stadium. John, it's just a great weekend for Lafayette.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, of course we had family weekend last weekend. It's always great for parents to come back and family members to come back and not just in the stadium, but all over campus. And Tenny, tell me though, Chicago, we're starting to get kids from all over the world. By the way, the Malagasy program, the Madagascar program. Do we have a quick minute to talk about Lime?
Sure, we do.
Yeah.
Who knows most about it? Because Lime is an unbelievable program. Jen, do you know much about it?
It's a really terrific program. David Stiefel is one of the just spearheaders of that program's establishment to make a real meaningful connection in Madagascar, to partner with schools and students there and prepare those students to come to Lafayette. And we've had several students matriculate and do really well here. Do you know more about it too, Tenny?
A little bit. I got nominated for the program earlier in the semester, though I'm not going. Big shot. Sorry. But though I'm not going, it's a really amazing program. Students formulate the entire curriculum, the entire first semester, so this fall semester, and then next semester, during the interim winter, they'll be going to Madagascar. However, if Corona kind of does its little thing that it always does, they might go during the summer, and they'll just spend their time kind of like teaching the students about different writing techniques to utilize for the ACT and SAT, and then also just like being kind of like a college counselor for them. No one knows how to go through the college process quite like another student, so understanding if they have any questions, if they have any concerns, maybe interview tips, that's what those students who are part of the Lime program are there for.
The president of Madagascar years ago understood that his country was among the poorest in the entire world, wrote 5,000 letters to various college presidents here in the United States. And our president at the time said, asking help. And our president at the time decided, they wanted students to come and mentor. And so these kids from this destitute poverty, we have 3 graduates now. They went when they were little. The kids were little. They mentored them one year after another. And how long did you? How long did the students go for? They're there for quite some time. A couple of weeks, a month.
I think about a couple of weeks.
I mean, in Madagascar, it's an amazing program. Talk about changing the world one student at a time.
Well, talk about the world changing. Tenny, I think we have a couple minutes. Well, maybe not. The drums have stopped. So my final question could be a quick answer. How different is this year to what you went through during the COVID year?
There's a lot. I think there is so much that we were given back to kind of like in the normal semester. This is such a random thing.
We will rise and turn our attention to the program.
I'm honored to begin this afternoon's inaugural convocation ceremony
for Lafayette College's 18th president, Dr. Nicole Farmer Hurd. There is a notion among some folks that ceremonies such as this one are just ceremonial, that we dress up and have a bunch of speakers and sing the Alma Mater just because we've always done it that way for the 17 previous presidents until now. But if we think of this ceremony as merely a ceremony, we miss out on the enchanted possibilities this day presents to us. We can choose through these inaugural moments of pomp and circumstance to participate. We can begin again. We can choose to be different before this moment and after. Vice President Annette Diorio, in a message she sent to the campus life division yesterday, put it this way: the inauguration is a moment where we set the direction for the future of the institution and, in many ways, affirm our commitment to the shared values that make us a unique entity. It feels providential that President Hurd so often uses the word community to center her hopes for Lafayette College. So may this gathering be a call to begin anew, inspired by the words of another woman of great character who longed for educational equity and togetherness, Mother Catherine Drexel. If we wish to serve God and love our neighbor well, we must manifest our joy in the service we render to God and to our neighbor. Let us open wide our hearts. It is a joy which invites us. Press forward and fear nothing. Amen. Please remain standing as Sarah Candido, class of 2022, leads us in the singing of America the Beautiful. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesties above the fruited plain. America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Please be seated. "40 years ago, I was a sophomore wandering somewhere around the quad. And this is a much different place than it was then. It's a much different time. And I don't see a pandemic. I don't see the challenges, living in somewhat of a bifurcated world. I don't see those as challenges. I see the moment as an opportunity. An opportunity for this institution to keep traveling on this road, on this journey, maybe to perfection, but certainly a journey that's infinite. It's a journey that will continue. It's a journey that will succeed us all. But this is a moment where we have an opportunity to do something special. At an inflection point that can really make a difference. I'm here to welcome all of you. Thank you for joining us today. It is truly a glorious day. I want to welcome the esteemed presidents of the colleges and universities that have chosen to represent their institutions. Thank you for joining us. The alumni that represent all of the classes of Lafayette, thank you for being here with us. The students, of course the faculty, we have the trustees, and I have some esteemed colleagues up here on the dais with me. I'd like to call out 4 people up here. First, the 2 former chairs that preceded me in this position that have served in this capacity, installing a new president, both of whom still continue to this day to provide me guidance, wisdom, some supervision. Every now and then you feel that glare, the weekly phone call. But it's well intended and well received. So thank you, Ed. Thank you, Alan. Both of you, all you've done for the college, and your commitments have been just beyond belief. I'd also like to call, thank you. There's a little applause. I think that's appropriate. That's someone that knows you, Ed. Right there in the 3rd row, probably a law school friend. All right. And 2 folks to my left. I think they're both to my left. Yeah. Where's President Ellis? There he is. They're to my right and to the left. So imagine, 40 years ago, wandering around the quad, I told the story last night at a dinner that there was this gentleman that would walk around in a camel coat with the obligatory elbow pads, often had a pipe, always had a smile. And I remember one day walking around saying, now who is that guy? We always see him and, oh, no, that's the president. Well, the president of what? Oh, no, that's the president of the college. Really? I mean, he seems so friendly, so open, so welcoming. And 40 years since he graced his presence here at this institution as our president, he still shows up today for this installation ceremony. And I think he deserves a round of applause and great appreciation. And 40 years later, I'm 18, I'm 58. And to my left is Alison Byerly, our 17th president of the institution. Now, thank you. Yep, more applause there. I was going to get to that applause, but I'm not sure which of them had me in the timeout chair more. I'm not sure if it was 40 years ago or when I was 58 as Alison's partner here at the institution. But I will say, I learned immeasurable amounts from both. And if we're about anything, even as a 58-year-old, it's about learning. It's about lifelong learning. And it's about each of our journeys. And today we're here to celebrate the journey of someone new to Lafayette, someone that's already embracing who Lafayette is, someone that you'll hear has fallen in love with Lafayette. And so we're excited to welcome her to our community, to be our leader, to take this moment as an opportunity and drive this institution forward, push us to a place that we know we can be in, that we can succeed in, and that we can all prosper in. So let's commence with the welcoming, and I'd first like to bring up Dr. Smith as a welcome from the faculty. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Joshua Smith, an associate professor in mechanical engineering and clerk at the faculty. Dr. Nicole Farmer Hurd, from the Williams Visual Arts Building and the Williams Center for the Arts to the Acopian Engineering Center, from Oxley Hall to the Oxley Center for Global Education, and from the Hugel Science Center to the Simon Center for Economics, I stand here in front of Old Pardee on behalf of the faculty of Lafayette to offer you a very warm welcome to Lafayette College. We applaud your initiative to found and direct the College Advising Corps with its mission to improve the access of low-income, first-generation, and underrepresented students to higher education, and its goal to enroll 1 million such students in college by 2025. Lafayette College will benefit greatly from your experience and insight enhancing student access and inclusion. A new presidency provides an opportunity for the campus community to critically examine its current path and possible future paths. We look forward to working in partnership with you as we undertake this self-reflection so that we, as teachers and scholars, may provide the best education and experience for our students. Lafayette will celebrate its 200th anniversary in 2026, and you will lead the college, its faculty, and its students into its 3rd century. The faculty are excited to embark on this journey with you. To use your words, we are ready to be bold and brave with you. Once again, welcome, President Hurd.
Good afternoon. I'm David Ellis, the 13th president. I was told to introduce myself. Chairman Sell, President Hurd, trustees, representatives, delegates, faculty, students, staff, alumni, and friends. It is a pleasure and an honor to be with you today, to bring greetings to President Hurd from your predecessor presidents of this fine college. And Alison, it's wonderful to see you here and to have the opportunity to thank you for your many contributions. President Hurd, as you come to know the college, you will learn what a special and wonderful institution it is, just as we did. And as everyone here knows, these are unusually challenging times with great opportunities. President Hurd, you bring special talents and experiences to this position. We, your predecessors, like everyone else here, wish you the very best in everything, and we stand ready to be of assistance in any way we can. Go Pards.
Presidents Byerly and Ellis. I should point out that President Ellis was here when I was in office many years ago, 1984 to 92. I was 10 years old. President Byerly was here when I came back. And somewhere in the middle was Dr. Weiss. And Chairman Sell, distinguished guests, faculty, staff, students, members of our community, it is my immense privilege and honor to welcome President Nicole Farmer Hurd to our increasingly vibrant college and city. President Hurd, our entire region shares in my excitement to have your leadership and vision guiding this institution of higher learning. In your short time on campus, we have already seen the passion that you bring to this important position and the commitment you bring to our community. She doesn't use the word community without sincere passion. It is interesting to see that even yesterday you were at Scott Park weeding the weeds out so the farmers market could be held every Saturday. It was Lafayette that was founded in 1826 by residents of our city. And to paraphrase the namesake, the Marquis, I'll paraphrase him by saying, the good fortune of Lafayette is closely tied to the good fortune of our city and vice versa. And I truly believe that. So the college goes is the way the city goes, and if the city goes well, so does the college. Dr. Hurd, you will quickly realize that Lafayette is a place that turns students into leaders, then sends them out to the world, where they don't just excel in their chosen profession, but they are also civically empowered to make a difference and Lafayette alumni are making a difference. Your charge will be to continue to lead Lafayette as a high-quality educational institution that it is. We ask that you continue to strengthen the tremendous community partnerships that have emerged for our mutual benefit and have become a national model of town-gown relations. Today, I also welcome the Board of Trustees and those involved in the selection process, because Dr. Hurd is the person who, for Lafayette, at a time as this, she continues to bring not only scholarship excellence, intellectual honesty, character, but also appreciation for diversity. At Lafayette and Easton, you will find warm, caring, giving, resilient, and dependable people who want nothing more than for you to succeed. It is my sincere hope that your tenure as the 18th president of this college will be long and fruitful and will provide you with a personal sense of fulfillment and meaning. Allow me to quote the Marquis just one more time. He said, "I read, I study, I examine, I listen, I think, and of all that, I try to form an idea into which I put common sense as much as I can." I know that you will lead this institution with the intellect and integrity and character and also the common sense that we need. Best wishes to you, Madam President. It is now my honor and privilege to also introduce to you, for a performance of Powerful Voices, the students from Francis A. March Elementary School. You may remember him. He was a longtime advocate of Lafayette College. And Paxenosa Elementary School. Paxenosa named after our Chief Paxenosa of the Lenni Lenape Indians. Ladies and gentlemen, take it away.
Choices for living and learning, so ever Sorry, I'm a little bit short. But good afternoon, everybody. Buenas tardes a todos. My name is Flor de Maria Selena Caceres Godoy, although some people just call me Flor. My pronouns are she, her, and ella. I'm your current student body president at Lafayette College and a proud DC Posse scholar. Today, we welcome President Hurd into our Lafayette familia. On behalf of the student body of Lafayette College, President Hurd, bienvenida y felicitaciones. From the get-go, I'm going to be completely honest, I loved your name. To the point that when I first mentioned you to my friends, I said, have you heard about the president yet? Like I said, I was a fan of your name, and I still am. But what gets me about you is that I was even more optimistic and looking forward to seeing you around our campus as soon as I heard all these amazing things and what you stood for as well. But today, I also want to share with you a couple of words that I hope you take to heart. Please be there for your kids. And I do mean to say kids, because this piece of advice intertwines to the type of love I have received from many people who are faculty, staff, and other administrators who have treated me as if I was their own daughter. Even myself, I have established my own tradition of calling those close to me who are underclassmen, especially my posse family, mijo or mija, as a way to show them that I will be there to support them and guide them during their undergraduate career. All I ask is that you too do the same. Aside from this, why I say be there for your kids is because there is one particular favorite Jamaican chef of ours here at Lafayette College who I once told, you are the reason for why we sometimes have the best days here on this campus, because you make the food from the food truck taste phenomenal. You give us each a little bit of home by providing us with the best seasoned food ever. What he replied with next was something I did not expect to be so heartfelt. He said, I love cooking, and I love all of my kids. All of you are my kids. Therefore, I will continue cooking with love for all of you. During your time here as presidents, I know there will be many things expected of you, but please do not ever lose sight of the fact that we do need you. All that we ask for is that you look out for our Lafayette community and never lose sight of who you are as a person. I know this job will be very demanding, and at times you will be forced to make difficult decisions. But please never stop making this a space where all kids can feel at home, a place where future generations, especially first generation, low income, undocumented, international, or Black and brown students can feel heard, supported, cared for, and protected. I only hope that you are also able to find your own home here as well. After all, you can't really spell community without you and I. I'm placing my full trust in you, President Hurd, and I really hope you continue to grow to love this campus community as much as I have in these last 4 years, and that you promise to stay true to who you are and what you stand for. Usted ahora pertenece a nuestra familia. Once again, bienvenida a Lafayette College, Presidenta Hurd.
It is a tremendous pleasure to be back at Lafayette and to be among so many friends today. And it's a tremendous honor to have the opportunity to extend greetings and congratulations on behalf of college and university presidents to Dr. Nicole Hurd as she begins her tenure as Lafayette's 18th president. This has been a time of tremendous challenge for all higher education institutions. The events of the last 20 months have tested our systems, our structures, our assumptions, and our communities. To begin a college presidency at such a time is an act of faith. It represents a commitment to the idea that colleges and universities and the students we educate have an important role to play in solving the many problems facing our country and our world. I am confident that Lafayette College will live up to that expectation. Lafayette has a long tradition of preparing students to be leaders, problem solvers, activists, and dreamers. All of these will be needed in the years to come. As a fellow college president, I am pleased to welcome Nicole Hurd to our ranks, and I look forward to working with her and with Lafayette to make good on the promise that colleges like ours offer the nation. Nicole, I offer my very best wishes for your success, and my hope that you and your family will find the Lafayette and Easton communities as welcoming a home as Steve and I did. Congratulations.
Good afternoon. I'm Tracy Hagert Sutka, class of '82, parent 17, the president of the Lafayette College Alumni Association. I am sincerely honored to be present here today on this important moment in the history of Lafayette College, to represent the Lafayette alumni community at President Hurd's inauguration ceremony. Our academic procession today includes an alumni delegate from every graduating class since 1954. Thank you, H. Eugene Harrison, class of '54, for leading the alumni today. These alumni stand with me to represent our strong and long-standing ties and our responsibility to remain guardians of our Lafayette legacy. When I arrived on campus in 1978, also with President Ellis, Lafayette had been a co-ed institution for only 8 years. The student body and the alumni community looked vastly different then. Today, we hear a blend of over 29,000 voices from many decades, from diverse backgrounds, and from all 50 states and 87 countries. What we share is a belief that Lafayette College is indeed a distinctive, special place. We honor the traditions of the past, but acknowledge that in today's challenging field of higher education, we alumni must support Lafayette more than ever as active stakeholders in the college's mission. President Hurd, in the short time you have been on campus, you have inspired the alumni with your entrepreneurial energy to make college more accessible and your experience in promoting undergraduate excellence. We accept your challenge to be bold and brave with you as you lead the college into our bicentennial in 2026. Your experience aligns with our mission, while your vision pays homage to our college history and traditions. I speak for all 29,000 alumni when I say congratulations on becoming Lafayette College's 18th president, and President Hurd, welcome home.
Good afternoon, Lafayette family and friends. It is my honor to extend greetings on behalf of our staff and administration. President Hurd, it is truly a pleasure to welcome you as our 18th president and to celebrate this memorable occasion for Lafayette College. In your first 2 months, you have taken the time to get to know the dedicated members of our incredible Lafayette staff, operating a variety of wide-ranging roles, from those that support our students, to those that maintain our beautiful campus, to those that engage and connect with our alumni and families. There is excitement and enthusiasm for this new chapter for the college. While there will certainly be challenges that lie ahead, you bring a wealth of experiences and perspectives that will guide and lead us as one team, aligned and united as one cohesive community. My colleagues and I join you in a commitment to the positive experiences and the development of our students. Whether someone has been a member of this community for 3 weeks or 3 decades, it is clear that Lafayette is a special place, a place with a unique combination of liberal arts, engineering, and Division I athletics. It is also clear that Lafayette must evolve and grow to match the current needs and expectations of today's and future students. We know your vision will drive us forward and make us stronger while staying true to our core educational mission. We look forward to leaning in to what makes us distinctive and being bold and brave with you. I have spoken with several colleagues, and there are a few things that stand out that we admire most about you, but I'll share just 2 today. 1, your competitive spirit, and 2, that you lead with love. In essence, what this means is that you will push us to be the best that we can, and in turn, we'll be motivated to push beyond our imagination because there is care and gratitude for the community and how we all contribute to it. So President Hurd, you have already redefined what community means to the Lafayette family, and we pledge to honor that partnership. Welcome to Lafayette, and go Leopards.
Thank you, Sherryta, and thank you to all the welcomers. I think those were really heartfelt comments and so apropos. I did observe that our director of enrollment ran over and started to enroll the first 25 members of the class of 3033. So well done, Matt. They've already left the campus, and they're off studying, getting ready for their tests. It's now my great pleasure to introduce Edward L. Ayers, President Emeritus of the University of Richmond. Over 4 decades of writing history, experimenting with digital scholarship, collaborating in public history, and teaching and leading in higher education, Dr. Ayers has tried to find new ways to connect people with the American past. He is Executive Director of the online project New American History. President Obama awarded him the National Humanities Medal in 2013. President Obama hailed his commitment to making our history as widely available and as accessible as possible. Dr. Ayers' relationship with Nicole Farmer Hurd goes back to their days together at the University of Virginia, when he was the dean of the college and he gave Nicole her first job. He and I have to spend a little bit more time together and check in on that. They've traveled together to Scotland, England, Southwest Virginia, some of the most rural areas of the world and some of the most sophisticated and cosmopolitan. There would not be a college advising corps if there were not Ed's belief in Nicole. I would also say if there was not Ed's strong recommendation and referencing that he did during the search, we may not be up here greeting Nicole. He was a resource for the search committee throughout the process, and we were greatly appreciative of that. Dr. Ayers.
What a beautiful day, beautiful place, beautiful moment. I'm so honored to have a chance to be with you. Now, I can tell already you've learned how remarkable Dr. Hurd is. I hear the words and welcome that recognize that you've met her. You've talked to her for at least 3 minutes and recognized those attributes that she radiates. She's remarkable, and so is her story, and that was a perfect handoff because I want to tell you about the beginning, at least as I know it. So after teaching for 20 years at the University of Virginia, I suddenly found myself dean of the College and Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, basically with no administrative experience, except chairing the faculty senate, and that's not always seen as a qualification for being dean. But I was full of enthusiasm and looking for allies with that same enthusiasm, and I found more than I'd bargained for when I met Nicole Hurd. And she was just finishing her dissertation in American Religious History and working in our Office of Undergraduate Education. People told me, do we have a great ally for you? This Nicole Hurd is really going to be something. So I entrusted her with heading up a new Center for Undergraduate Excellence, designed to help students applying for outside awards and fellowships to foster undergraduate research. And Nicole did a wonderful job of that, working with our most accomplished and confident students. And this is when Nicole and I had a major disagreement. And you've heard her honesty extolled, and so I want to be honest with you as well. She presided at the dinners and ceremonies to celebrate the many successes that she helped guide. And filled with genuine excitement for the students she had helped, as she described their originality and dedication and energy, Nicole used the word amazing many, many times. Now, the students were in fact amazing, and Nicole was in fact amazed. One of her great gifts is seeing the world with limitless wonder and possibility. But I told her in a friendly, avuncular way that if you use that word too often, you're going to risk conveying the very quality you want to convey. If everything is amazing, then is anything really amazing? She promised me that she would find other words to convey amazement. Now, most new humanities PhDs would have been more than satisfied with Nicole's plum assignment of taking our best students and making them even better, and then basking in their success. But Nicole had no sooner excelled at that task than she began to look for new and harder ones. Now, she and I shared a concern. So this brand new PhD, an assistant dean, imagined a partnership in which recent college graduates would locate themselves in high schools. They may not have known much as new graduates, but they knew how to get into and go to college. They could share that information. And they would work alongside guidance counselors, getting to know the students inside and outside of class, attending events, and visiting with parents. In return, they would receive a stipend for their commitment, along with a small down payment toward their graduate education. Now, this vision was compelling because it made sense, and she soon won a $600,000 grant to launch her program. I wasn't really jealous, but I didn't mean to say that out loud. Nicole did not merely conceive of the program, but she built it from the ground up, guide by guide, school by school. Now, I was an eager accomplice in that heartening work, mainly because I believed in Nicole Hurd. But I also helped because I understood the high school kids she was determined to help. I'm sure you can't tell, but I had grown up 20 miles south of the Virginia state line in the mountains of Southwest Virginia. I'm assuming it's one of the most sophisticated, beautiful places that we just heard about, not one of the most rural. I knew nothing about college and applied to the state university 100 miles away with my friends, nowhere else, hoped it would work out. And fortunately, that university served me well and opened every door that I've been fortunate to find the rest of my life. I'm here today because of higher education. Now, Nicole asked if I would visit with her first class of 14 college guys to visit the high schools and communities in which they worked, and I was honored to do so. And one of them was quite near my home on the Virginia-Tennessee border. My major contribution was introducing the team to Pal's, a legendary local fast food place marked by giant fiberglass hamburgers and hot dogs improbably perched on top of their small, square, purple drive-through buildings. I think people from the outside world might have been intimidated by that display of sophistication, but I assured them that they would be welcome to the Frenchy fries and the chipped chicken sandwiches. Don't ask, because as an educator, I'm devoted to expanding students' cultural horizons. And I picture standing in the parking lot, because there's no seating, with Nicole trying out a hot dog with everything. Now, along the way, Nicole and I co-authored an article in the Chronicle of Higher Education telling of the work of the new college guides. And a paragraph in that essay describes the situation Nicole and her team addressed. In this high school, in my home area, 293 students graduated the year the guide arrived. Of those students, 216 had no plans, they called it, after graduation, and only 16 planned to attend a four-year institution. The guide knew there were more students who could succeed in college if they knew how to get there, if they understood that there was financial aid for them, if they could be guided through, and more importantly, their parents, guided through the FAFSA form. And this guide worked every day to help them figure out how to do so, changing young lives forever, one life at a time. Under Nicole's leadership, and this still seems impossible even though it happened, the program won a $10 million grant from the Jack Kent Cooke Foundation. And in 2007, now those of you keeping track, we're only 5 years from the beginning of this, she wins the Governor of Virginia's Award for National Service. That year, I left UVA to become president at the University of Richmond, and Nicole headed to Chapel Hill to grow her remarkable program. This quiet but profound accomplishment unfolded at schools across the nation, growing year after year. It's not an accident that Nicole was named Champion for Change in College Opportunity by President Obama. By the time that Nicole completed her work there this summer and to join you, the College Advising Corps has assisted over 500,000 first-generation, low-income, and underrepresented students in enrolling in higher education. With 31 partner institutions of higher education and over 2,500 recent graduates serving as advisors. This is a remarkable success story at a time, as we've heard, there's not always success stories in American higher education, especially at tackling these legacies of generations of inequality and injustice. Now, Dr. Nicole Hurd is bringing that energy, imagination, commitment, and understanding to Lafayette. She is bringing to you the same spirit, skill, and inspiring power that led her to act audaciously 20 years ago. But she comes to you with her modesty untarnished, her passion undiminished. So all I can say, if that's not amazing, I don't know what is. Thanks very much.
In the script here, there are all these references to handshakes. All I've seen are hugs. So for the rest of the afternoon, be ready to get a big hug. All of you. Did you say Southwest Virginia or Southwest Virginia?
Southwest.
Southwest Virginia, okay. Well, that is a cosmopolitan place. Of course it is, yes. All right. Well, it's that time. Dr. Hurd, would you please join me up here? Linda and Angel, I think you'll join us as well. Right out there. We've got a mark for you.
I see that.
Yep. We've gathered here today in accordance with academic custom to carry out the formal installation of a new president of Lafayette College. Nicole Farmer Hurd, the trustees have called you to the presidency of this institution. Will you faithfully execute the duties with which you are entrusted?
Yes, I will.
Will you preserve and advance Lafayette College, taking its students into your care, sustaining the members of the faculty and taking counsel from them, guiding and strengthening its administrators and all others who serve and support the college?
Yes, I will.
The charter and statutes of the college will now be presented to you by Ms. Linda Asante Carrasco, Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees, and Mr. Angel Mendez, Secretary of the Board.
The charge of Lafayette College was granted to our predecessors in 1826 by the legislature of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Article 6 of this charter empowers the Board of Trustees to appoint a principal officer of the college. Article 7 describes the duties of that officer and of the faculty. As testimony of your authority as president of Lafayette College, we present you with a copy of the charter and statutes of the college.
Premature hugs. Now, by the authority vested in the Board of Trustees by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I declare you fully admitted to the office to which you have been called. I commend to you the welfare of Lafayette College, and with all others here assembled, I congratulate you as you enter upon the presidency of this institution. Congratulations, Nicole.
Thank you, Bob. Wow. I have to just take this in for a second. Wow. Okay. Amazing, Ed. It's amazing. All right. I want to begin my remarks by exercising one of the most important core values that I hold dear, the practice of gratitude. And I want to acknowledge a few people who have helped make this moment possible. First, to our board chair, Bob, our vice chair, Linda, and Angel, as well as everyone on the Board of Trustees, thank you for the confidence you have shown in me. I promise to you and to everyone here that I will give you my absolute best each and every day. To Bob and Linda again, who served as chair and vice chair, respectively, of the search committee. And to the members of that search committee who enthusiastically recommended me to take this journey with all of you. I want to thank each of you and acknowledge you by name. Bob, Linda, Chris, Tony, Alvin, Tanju, Kamaka, Jonathan, Sean, Jen, David, Hannah, Mary, and Jim. I fell in love with each one of you by first using my research nerd skills to learn about you on paper, actually on a laptop, and then by engaging in the more important and deep conversations that left me constantly wanting more. I'm not sure it's normal to enjoy a search process as much, but every call and every visit left me thinking I want to be part of that community. It is an honor to join you now and to serve this remarkable place. Thank you for believing in me. To the Inauguration Committee, and I see them right in front of me, especially our co-chairs, Wynn Whitman and Barbara Levy, it is an honor to join the both of you among the ranks of Lafayette women. Your love of this place is palpable, and there is no doubt you make us better and a stronger community. Thank you, Barbara and Wynn. To my good friend and mentor, Ed Ayers, for his generous and sometimes embarrassing introduction, and for being so incredibly generous with his time, with his wisdom, and with his encouragement over the years. I would not be here if it was not for his guidance, but also for the example he has set. And I mean this, Ed, I want you to hear it. The example you've set as not just a scholar and a leader, but also as a spouse and a parent. There's a saying that you have to see it to be it. I am who I am because I've been watching Ed. To those of you in attendance and watching the live stream, I thank you for sharing this moment. Your presence, whether visible or virtual, is indicative of our collective commitment to the Lafayette community and this remarkable institution. To everyone who's playing a role in today's ceremony, thank you for enriching the significance of this day. And finally, and I'm going to try to hold it together now, and finally to my family, to my mom and my brother, who are watching from afar, and to my sister, where are you, Joelle, who's here. Thank you for your love. And to my husband, my life partner, my dear Bill, and our children, Monica and Matthew. Today might be the fourth happiest day of my life. And it's a day that never would have happened without your strength, your hope, and your love you give me every single day. I believe in you, and I love you with my whole heart. Mon, Matt, Bill, can you stand, please? Love you. My working title for these remarks is Becoming Lafayette. I was inspired by the following observation that the former First Lady, Michelle Obama, made in her best-selling memoir, Becoming. She wrote, "Becoming isn't about arriving somewhere or achieving a certain aim. I see it instead as forward motion, as a means of evolving, a way to reach continuously towards a better self. The journey doesn't end." Lafayette, our journey together is just beginning, but we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us, and now we bravely and boldly must come together and forge a new path. We must create the future that this campus, community, nation, and world need. We must become Lafayette. Before I speak to that, as we are still in our getting to know each other phase, let me tell you a little bit about becoming Nicole. I was born in San Francisco, the daughter of two first-generation college graduates who instilled with me the importance of education. And I had the support, like many of us here, of teachers who challenged me, inspired me, and helped me find and use my voice. As I look back, one of the most important moments of my becoming was in 1991, when I decided to be the first woman to run for student body president at the University of Notre Dame. My dear friend, Eric Riggs, after a fair amount of convincing, agreed to be my running mate, and off we went, knocking on doors, hanging up flyers, and if my memory serves me correctly, rocking the debate. See, I'm not competitive at all, Sherryta. Eric and I had not spent a lot of time reflecting on the historic nature of our run, as I was the first woman and he was the first student of color to be on a ticket together, and we had some serious success. We made it to a runoff, and if there had been an electoral college of dorms, we would have won. Again, I am not competitive at all. But that night, we barely lost. The phone began to ring. I will not share with you, Lafayette, the sexist, racist words we were called, but it changed me forever, as a person and as an educator. I learned that access does not mean inclusion, and that even on a campus and in spaces of learning, places many may assume to be safe, we have to do the work of seeing and hearing and valuing each other. Eric is here today. Eric, you want to stand? Eric, I love you. I love you, my friend. What followed for me were graduate degrees from Georgetown, where I met my husband, Bill, and I'm going to make her stand now, my best friend, Amy Porter. I love you, Amy. And at the University of Virginia, where I once again learned the importance of access and inclusion, of teaching and research, of seeing and hearing and valuing one another. As my faculty colleagues know, the best part of teaching is not just sharing knowledge with students, it's sharing with them and then learning and growing ourselves. At Virginia, I had the chance to work with some phenomenal students who stretched me as a scholar and as a person. I want to share the story of one of those students, John Keese. And I see you, John. John was a political and social thought major who I was helping apply to major scholarships, Rhodes, Mitchell, Marshall, etc. And I've been able to watch John evolve from a student to a scholar himself. As a Mitchell Scholar, as a Jack Kent Cooke Scholar, as a graduate student at Duke, and now as a professor at Loyola University, Maryland. But over 20 years, what I cherish most about John are the conversations and our constant challenge to each other, what we call our internal dialogue, about who we are and how are we showing up in the world. Hours of conversation about Bonhoeffer or Dorothy Day, or a theme that comes up with us a lot, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. always come back to one theme. Are we in community? Are we showing up? And as Dr. King so beautifully phrased it, are we bending the arc towards justice? I am so glad that I've bent that arc with you, my friend, Mr. Keese. John, you want to stand up? Access and inclusion, developing talent, being in community, bending the arc towards justice is why in 2005, with Ed, we started the College Advising Corps. And I took the risk of leaving a traditional academic path with, I'm going to use the word, amazing colleagues and friends, and created a movement that has helped enroll over 525 first-generation low-income and underrepresented students into higher education. And Lafayette, I'm here to tell you, it is that same commitment to vision and values that bring me here today. We believe in unlocking potential. We believe in increasing opportunity. We believe in being profound community. We are going to bend the arc. And so now I want to focus on becoming Lafayette. The college's journey began nearly 200 years ago, founded by the citizens of Easton, as Mayor Panto told us, the community. We were founded by the community, amid the hopes and dreams of a young nation. That pioneering institution continues to reshape itself today to serve its educational and philosophical missions. The city's residents were inspired by a certain French general who became a Revolutionary War hero, our namesake, the Marquis de Lafayette. He was 19 years old when he crossed an ocean to join the cause of an independent America. He faced a journey that would have him navigate a new world, forge lasting connections, alter history, and redefine the course of his own life. Our students today are on a similar journey. Like him, they have choices to make, to forge ahead, to take risks, and to answer the call to be of service. Over the last few months, I've had the honor of sitting with a number of Lafayette family members and hearing their stories. From Rexa Haney, who shared with me what it's like to be a professor of color on this campus for almost 40 years, to women who were in the first class in 1970, to students and parents who have shared with me how the personal touch and promise of this community had brought them to this special place. I am still Lafayette in my listening and learning phase of our journey, but please allow me to share some reflections on what I'm seeing as the DNA, the common threads of becoming Lafayette. First, Lafayette is a place that makes the intersections visible and can lead by reconciling tensions. The power of alignment, not necessarily agreement, but alignment. I want to say that one again because it's important. This is a place that makes the intersections visible and can lead by reconciling tensions. And I want to challenge us a bit on this one. We are a place of and that might often think of ourselves as or. It is not liberal arts or engineering. It is not academics or athletics. It is liberal arts and engineering. It is academics and athletics. we need to embrace the alignment, the synergy, the space where things can speak to each other, the integration of different types of knowledge. For example, take our role as one of the few outstanding undergraduate liberal arts colleges with a stellar engineering program. See, I didn't say amazing. Top STEM and humanities make the whole much greater than the sum of those two parts all across this campus. It's a differentiator embodied by people like mechanical engineering professor and novelist Jen Rossman. Jen, are you here? Is she here? She's in the broadcast room. All right, there's, okay. Professor Rossman describes that combination of liberal arts and engineering as peanut butter and chocolate. Yes, world, we are the Reese peanut cup of higher education. Powerful compliments, ways to see anew, and an opening for real collaboration. Professor Rossman, we salute you and all of our colleagues who give life to STEM and the humanities, showing the true strength of Lafayette. Let's talk about academics and athletics. Roughly 25% of our students participate in one or more of our 23 Division I teams. Our athletic programs help us attract stellar student athletes who see academics and athletics as integral to the opportunity to create their best selves. And we attract coaches who serve as teachers outside the classroom. This is a differentiator embodied by men's soccer coach, head coach Dennis Bond, who has led the Leopards to winning seasons in 14 of his 20 years on College Hill, including 3 Patriot League championships and 3 NCAA tournament appearances. But Coach Bond is also a teacher off the field. He is one of our strongest voices for diversity, equity, and inclusion on our campus. He's also a voice of empathy and community, signing Andrew Hummel, a young boy battling cancer, as part of the 2023 recruiting class. Dennis teaches our community how to compete on the field and how to unify us off. We should lift up these spaces where we take risks. We should reward creativity. We should fuel innovation. We should find places where we explore different modes of inquiry, where we can truly be interdisciplinary, where we can be our best selves. We can find alignment. Which leads me to the second strain in our DNA. We unleash talent. It doesn't take very long as you walk on this campus to see the talent shine. Whether it's our students, our faculty, or our staff, this place is full of talent and goodness and beauty. We have fostered a faculty that consists of teacher scholars. Our professors help create the knowledge that they teach. This is a differentiator embodied by people, and I see you, so I'm about to call on you, people like Professor Khadijah Mitchell of biology, whose research on cancer, genetics, and health disparities across populations includes students who make significant contributions to her findings. For Professor Mitchell, the classroom and her research lab are equal partners in the teacher-scholar enterprise. I've had the joy of visiting Professor Mitchell's lab, and what you see there is not just great teaching and research. It is the unleashing of talent, both hers and her students. It is palpable. It is undeniable. You might even say it's magical. To watch her with her students, it is the embodiment of my 2 favorite phrases. We are most powerful when our hearts, our heads, and our hands are in alignment. I've witnessed that power in her lab. In Lafayette, we take the sparks of inquiry and we make them into fireworks of learning. Allow me to share another example, Professor Chris Phillips in English. In my early days on this campus, I've invited faculty to give me the honor of attending their classes. Not to judge or evaluate, but to watch the unleashing of talent, the unlocking of potential. Professor Phillips invited me to his Literature of the Sea class. Some of you might have heard that, because I had a little fall, but it's okay, which met right here on the quad. As I watched him sing sea shanties and stage a tug-of-war, which is where I fell, and I did participate, as we dove into Moby Dick, I saw the students were captivated. The sparks became fireworks, and all of a sudden we were deep in important conversations about context and culture and identity and narrative. The magic was happening. The talent was unleashed. Professor Mitchell and Phillips, are you here? If so, please take a bow on behalf of all of our outstanding faculty that are here to unlock potential. In Lafayette, we need to go even deeper into the work of unleashing talent. I see the goodness and potential everywhere. From developing leadership, innovation, and entrepreneurship in the Dyer Center, to community-engaged scholarship at the Landis Center, to learning not only in the classroom, but in the libraries, in the Gateway Career Center, in undergraduate research opportunities, and as we once again think about studying abroad in our global engagement work after this pandemic. To the learning and leading in athletics, in student clubs, to holding leadership roles in student government and with the Board of Trustees, to engaging in service to the community throughout Easton and beyond. At Lafayette, we are not teaching students what to think, but to think. Not to check boxes, but to really do the work, to go on their own journeys of becoming. And finally, Lafayette, we are a place where we need one another. I'm guessing I'm going to be the first college president in history to invoke St. Catherine of Siena in this way, but here we go. In Catherine's dialogue, she wrote of intentional interdependence. None of us has every gift. We need each other. We depend on each other. And guess what? That is why we believe in shared governance. Yes, I'm using Catherine of Siena to explain shared governance. It is also why I'm calling us all to live in profound community. And it turns out this is why I love the theme for this inauguration. My spot is here, which was the idea of our Dean of Advising, Tim Cox. Tim, where are you? There you go. Because part of becoming is also belonging. Belonging is difficult, and once again calls us to see and to hear and to value each other. It demands that we continue the journey to be a more diverse, equitable, inclusive, and just community. It means we need to do the hard work of hard conversations, of being uncomfortable, of building our empathy muscle, of making things that may not be visible, visible. We need to continue to build a campus where each of us can say, my spot is here. And the good news is that that love and commitment is already here. This includes our amazing staff, from food services to advising to facilities, whose contribution to the outstanding education we provide are often invisible, but always meaningful. To all those colleagues, your spot is here. It lives in the annual Thrive on the Quad program held by the Counseling Center in La Farm to help students learn practical strategies to nurture personal growth and cultivate a positive college experience. From first-generation college students to those from 3 generations of Lafayette families, your spot is here. Your spot is here if you're an artist, a philosopher, a chemist, or an engineer. Singing sea shanties to teach literature, your spot is here. Including students in your research on cancer, your spot is here. And we do not just need one another, we need to take care of one another. I was not sure I was going to share this story, but I can feel him with me as I give these remarks. So I want to share a story about my dad. As many of you know, in the time between announcing we'd be joining the Lafayette family and our arrival to campus in July, I lost my dad. My dad was a true north in my life, a guide, a constant source of encouragement and love. Every Saturday for the past 10 years, we would have lunch with my mom, and he would ask me questions. Questions about the College Advising Corps, about our impact, about our plans to grow, and he loved to hear the stories about our students. In my last lucid conversation with him, we talked about the incredible arc of his life, a low-income, first-generation student himself from Detroit who truly lived the American dream. We talked about the power of education, of hope, of dreaming. And at the end of that conversation, we talked about lessons learned and if he had any regrets. I listened to him, and I reflected back to him what I thought he was saying to me. It sounds like you're saying, Dad, that you have to have a clear mind and a kind heart. He looked at me and said, "You've got it." Dad had taught me his final lesson. So as we continue to become Lafayette, to have difficult conversations, to do the work of being a community, to really see and hear and value one another, may we do it, as Dad said, with clear minds and kind hearts. I love you, Dad. May we take care of one another. So let me review what I see in our DNA, Lafayette. I see a place where we can reconcile tensions and create alignment, where we can take risks, where we can be truly interdisciplinary, where we can create connections, where we can be both competitive and collaborative, where we engage what our colleague Dan Sabatino, are you here, Dan? I love that conversation we had about the meta mindset. Lafayette is a place where we unleash talent and unlock potential, where we believe we are on a lifelong journey of learning and growing and discovering. And Lafayette is a place of profound community where we are committed to seeing and hearing and valuing each other. So it turns out that Lafayette is a place that takes risks and believes in potential and embraces community. Maybe it's not so surprising you chose a religious studies professor turned social entrepreneur who deeply believes in the power of community to join you for your next chapter. Lafayette, family, it turns out we have shared DNA. Someone very wise shared with me that time on a campus is not a sprint or marathon, it's a relay. Today, we honor those who have carried the baton before us on this journey to become Lafayette. We also have the sacred honor now of holding that baton, of running the race. What is going to be the arc of our narrative? Where do we want to go? What will be our legacy? Lafayette, it's time to start our new chapter. And I'm going to say this with my entire head, hands, and heart. Lafayette, it's time for us to lead. There is a saying, a city on a hill cannot be hidden. Well, I'd like to argue a college on a hill cannot be hidden. And I mean an entire hill, from our colleagues on the arts campus to the quad to Metzger's Field. Lafayette, it is time to shine. We are going through something hard. We are still in a pandemic. One can argue we are way too divided and way too polarized. Easton, the Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, our nation, our world needs us now, Lafayette, to show the possible, to do the work, to restore the faith, to rebuild the trust, to bring alignment where there is difference, to not yield the space and give into a belief that you have to be large to be transformational, to bend the arc, to ignite the sparks into fireworks, to be, as our fifth graders sang, powerful voices making powerful choices. Our journey has begun. Our moment is now. Our spot is here. Let us be bold. Let us be brave. Let us become Lafayette. Thank you.
All right, one more hug. Thank you, Nicole. A hug is an embrace. And I'll end where I started. Now is a wildly interesting moment in time. We have the opportunity to embrace the moment and move the institution forward. We have a leader who expresses a desire to join us in that journey and lead the charge. I leave it to all of you to decide. I'm committed. She's committed. I think many of you are committed on Lafayette. Now, could we welcome back Sarah Candido, class of 22? She's going to come up here and lead us in the singing of our Alma Mater. If you all could rise, please. Sarah?
We'll gather by the twilight's glow in front of old Pardee. In all the world no other scene so fair, so dear to me. Oh, Lafayette, oh, Lafayette, to thee our voice twilights glow in front of old party. In all the world no other scene so fair, so dear to me.
Following the benediction and the recessional, you are cordially invited to a reception in honor of President Hurd and her family, which will take place here on the quad in front of Skillman Library. However, we ask that you remain in place until the academic procession has left the quad. I feel moved to share with you a quote that has really been a guiding light in my own life, and I'm thinking of it here today for you, Nicole. Dorothy Day, founder of the Catholic worker movement and a big believer in community, there was once a Catholic worker house here in Easton, talks about family being whoever shows up. So Nicole, Bill, this is the family that is showing up for you this day. Dr. Newton spoke to us earlier today about the liturgy of this day, the order of how things go on this day. Nicole came into Farranon earlier this week just to check out how things were going. We were getting ready for Farmer Fest. Melissa Dalrymple and her team did an amazing job. And Nicole mentioned that this is a lot like a wedding, this day. And so at this point in a wedding, if I were conducting a wedding ceremony, we would have a charge to the bride and groom, or bride and bride, groom and groom. So here is my charge for Nicole and this community on this day. This comes from John O'Donohue and is a blessing for one who holds power. May the gift of leadership awaken in you as a vocation. Keep you mindful of the providence that calls you to serve. As high over the mountain the eagle spreads its wings, may your perspective be larger than the view from the foothills. When the way is flat and dull in times of gray endurance, may your imagination continue to evoke horizon. When thirst burns in times of drought, may you be blessed to find the wells. May you have the wisdom to read time clearly and know when the seeds of change will flourish. In your heart, may there be a sanctuary for the stillness where clarity is born. May your work be infused with passion and creativity and have the wisdom to balance compassion and challenge. May your soul find the graciousness to rise above the fester of small mediocrities. May your power never become a shell wherein your heart would silently atrophy. May you welcome your own vulnerability as the ground where healing and truth join. May integrity of soul be your first ideal, the source that will guide and bless your work. And whatever you do, in word or in deed, whatever you do, do everything in the service of peace, giving thanks for our many blessings. Amen.
as we end this special day with a recessional, I am moved a bit by the words of Chaplain Hendrickson. Today is kind of like a marriage, not between two people, but between thousands of people. The community, she talked about that. The faculty mentioned that. The student body, she mentioned that. She mentioned the far reach of this college in terms of the world. So I'm very interested in your thoughts. Jen, I'll start with you.
No, I think you're right, Gary, that we sort of made promises to each other here today, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the word that really stays with me is possibility. People thinking about the many possibilities before us, the ability to look critically at what's gone in the past and which of the possible paths we may follow together. And of course, I think just from lunch today, John Sexton's remarks, he said that college presidents are basically possibilitarians, that they raise those possibilities. They tell us the story of who we might be, and we hold hands and go together.
And I think that's exactly the message that was sent today. Tenny, obviously there's a tremendous amount of focus by the new president on the students of this community, of this college.
Yeah. I think the most exciting part was when she discussed being seen finally, Lafayette being seen.
A very special day and a very special person.
Well, Gary, so much. I mean, first of all, I love hearing talented people spin words. Words can be powerful and they have meaning. I have three thoughts. We heard Dr. Hurd talk about a lot about love and passion and community, but let's not forget this is a strong woman with an underpinning pragmatism. You don't build a college advising corps or any organization of that size without knowing how systems function. The second thing is I would urge everyone to do a little research about the story behind the I Believe in You, because it's a very, very compelling, heartfelt story, and she referenced that as kind of an inside line between her and her family. But I'd like to be so bold as to suggest to Nicole that, Nicole, we believe in you too. Mm-hmm. And finally, this came to me the other day as I was thinking about Dr. Byerly and Dr. Ellis being here and Art Rothkopf and all the presidents who went before. And Walt Whitman's poem came to me, and it suggests that the powerful play goes on and you may contribute a verse. I have a suspicion, and I'm confident, that the verse contributed by Nicole Hurd will be powerful and profound going forward.
Not a bad wordsmith yourself. Thank you for that, John. And I want to pay special thanks, Jen. Thank you for joining us. Tenny, thank you for joining us. And best of luck to your future.
Thank you.
And John, as always, I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Lafayette Fordham will be there at 3:30. And to all of you who spent this special moment with all of us, we thank you so much for joining us. And a huge congratulations to Nicole Farmer Hurd, the 18th president of Lafayette College. Goodbye, everybody.